All right. Hello, everybody. It's your boy Kirby K10 here, coming at you with another podcast episode of the Overkill Podcast. It is episode 58. Baby, we've been doing it for a year and 2 months? Let's go,
Uh,
baby.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Month and a half.
I'm here with my boy Meta Knight.
What's up?
And I guess we'll just hop right into it. My boy Meta came in and sent me this video by this game dev, Mark Darren, and basically the whole point of the video was
Mark
if you buy a yeah, Mark Dara, sorry, and basically if you buy a video game, he says that you should only criticize the executives and don't go after the low-level employees. That was one of the main points that I remember.
It is, and this is from his video titled "Your $70 Doesn't Buy You Cruelty," and it's been covered by all the big streamers, of course. But if anyone hasn't seen it, I would go watch it.
Based. I don't know. What did you think of it?
So,
I think.
so there's kind of a greater context to this video. And that
Okay.
Mark Dara was brought in to consult on Dragon Age the Veilguard, the most recent one. If you remember, that's the one with the dragon girl that tries to fuck you and is non-binary. Yes, so that's kind of why he became relevant again. But his previous work was at BioWare with Baldur's Gate, Shattered Steel, and Neverwinter Nights, Dragon Age. He was an executive producer on Dragon Age Origin. He was a project director for the entire Dragon Age series, and he retired in 2020, but he allegedly came back for the new Dragon Age game. Now, he is a big proponent of kind of left-wing talking points, ideology in games, DEI, and I say this as just kind of a temperature check. Just by noting some of his tweets and kind of the way that he talks to people. Yeah. He's definitely an interesting character. I don't know if you have anything to say, but if not, I'm going to keep yapping.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. He kind of brought up like, honestly, that's the only point that I really remember. I haven't really noticed. Or I did notice. I like how at one part he like slips in. He's like, "Oh yeah, I was the executive for Anthem," and I was like, "What, bro? That's the guy who's responsible for at least managing like the big picture of it, not maybe not like the smaller points, which is kind of what he went into. Is how like sometimes it's not just one person who's responsible. Maybe it's 5 people on a like a smaller team, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
You can keep yapping.
Yeah, I guess the overall point of the video, and feel free to interject, is your $70 doesn't buy your cruelty. And at first, you say, okay, that's not too bad. He says, you can be critical, but he's very vague. And then he kind of says, like, what are you doing crawling into these developers' comments sections? And then he goes, you don't know who to blame. So blame the company. Go tweet at the company overall. If that's not good enough for you, pick the first person on the credits list and go find their Twitter or socials, and anyone above them probably doesn't have socials, so you probably have to target the dev. And you don't have to shit on individual developers because they're listening and they're going to get all your feedback. Now, that sounds innocent enough. I guess the bigger picture here is that he never mentions what happens whenever individual devs get on Twitter and start calling people fascist, Nazi, Trump supporters that deserve to get killed, or, if you don't agree with me, you should get killed. And as we've stated on the podcast before, we at least, you and I at least sit like center libertarian to center, right, or like right-ish, somewhere in there. And so, stuff like this is kind of interesting because if he's kind of saying that devs can talk as much shit as they want, but you shouldn't go harass them whenever they talk shit. How do you feel about that, first off?
Nah, I'm sorry, bro. Most of the devs, in my opinion, if the devs like dish it out, they can take it. And a lot of the game devs, especially for certain video games, like that one guy who was like, oh, if you don't like that it has all this leftist stuff in it, don't buy it. And like people listened and they didn't. I believe it was Battlefield 5. But especially like if the devs have like a hatred for the customer. I remember specifically as well a Battlefield 2042, after the game came out and it was getting railed, one of the devs basically was like, oh, those like basement dwellers who are criticizing our game. Mm-hmm. And that made the community even more angry than it already was. So listen, if you're a dev and you dish it out, I think you should be able to take a little bit of criticism for some of the decisions that you make, at least.
I mean, 1,000%. I don't have all of the dev tweets ever pulled up because I don't care. I'm not someone that goes and brigades people, and I don't have them saved. But there have been many a dev tweet that basically says we hate half of our player base, at least from the United States devs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of interesting. I want maybe it's just like the American attitude of having, I guess, freedom to do what you want.
It is. They are completely free to talk shit, but whenever it reflects badly on the game and it doesn't sell well and they lose their job, I don't know if that's our problem. So that was another point of his video. Another point of his video was you shouldn't celebrate developers losing their jobs after a woke game or a game you disagree with fails, is his implication. Very obviously, you can tell this is kind of a reply to Velguard and the BioWare having to let a lot of the devs go. So I'm kind of curious, what do you think? Should you celebrate people losing their jobs or not?
I don't think you should. I don't think you should celebrate that, but I think you should. I think you should celebrate the consumer being able to vote with their wallet. And it sucks that the devs get caught. The devs who probably most of them were just sitting there and doing their job and doing what they were told to do. It sucks that they were the majority of the people who lost their jobs. I'm not too sure on like who the if any of the management got let go or any of the like leads, but
I'm unaware.
I think I think that is one thing too, is like most of the time whenever these devs get fired, they're like firing off like the little the loners, not really like the leads who are leading everyone.
No, and it's often the most newly hired people, so it's probably a lot of people they hired on just for the game.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I guess I guess we'll go ahead and move on to my comment because I kind of extrapolated this further because very clearly you could tell this was kind of a subtweet or a sub video, I guess, if you want to call it that, of Dragon Age. And Dragon Age has been lorded over and reviewed and review bombed and scrutinized for being woke, for being bad compared to the other Dragon Ages, for not living up to the expectation of what a Dragon Age game should be, all this stuff. And so I kind of took my comment and I extrapolated it a little bit, and maybe I read a little bit too much into old Marky here, but I have a feeling I did not. He has a habit of copying and pasting responses to other people's comments, so keep that in mind. So I commented, Mark, I've waited until the comments have died down on this video to extend an olive branch. I just wanted to say I've never crawled into someone's social media to bother them. I've never done any of the things you outlined. If I see a bad game or a game that clearly hates me as a person, I don't buy it. It's not the fact that trans characters are in your games. Will there be people who crawl out of the woodwork to throw a fit about it? Yes. And then I put in quotes, or in parentheses. I can save time by not providing 100 examples. What I'm trying to say is that it's not because of your liberal ideals. People don't like these modern games. We're out of the parentheses now. People don't like these modern games because when you focus on what characters are instead of who they are, it results in quote-unquote bad dialogue, writing, and even gameplay. You can have a black trans lesbian as many labels as you want in your game. Cool. Why should I feel anything for them? What is their struggle? What is their story? What makes them tick other than their characteristics? The problem also goes deeper in that when you set out to make a game for a particular message, it makes the game bland. We can go a layer deeper, and your devs talk so much trash on Twitter that it makes even middle-of-the-road folks angry. What I'm getting at is that some grace needs to be had on both sides. P.S. I worry this message will be received by you through a distorted political lens. I'd like to say that I know many friends from quote-unquote oppressed groups, and that even they agree with me. Stop pandering and make a game worth playing. Tell your devs to make an alt to troll on X and it'll all be okay. His response was one of these copy and paste responses that he's given to everyone else, which simply reads, vote with your wallet. And I responded, I already do, brother, and I'm making my own game.
Based.
I guess, as we've stated on the show before, I feel like we're very reasonable. The trans stuff is not like a huge deal to me as long as, it doesn't start bleeding over into schools and targeting children and stuff. I really don't care what you want to do. And I just use it as an example in this post because it's so divisive. And I know that Mark is a huge fan of politics, just liberal politics specifically, based on how he speaks throughout this entire video. He almost talks down to you as if you're too stupid to understand, and that you don't even bother to make your own game, and that you're kind of worthless. So I just kind of get that vibe that like he thinks anyone that disagrees with him isn't worth his time. He can kind of veil it under this general malaise of being nonpartisan, but I'm almost 99.9% sure, given the games that his teams have put out, that he's probably pretty lefty. Which isn't an issue, but I do think it's kind of projected on here that he thinks that people can talk shit on Twitter and not get hate.
Yeah.
So am I wilding on this or what?
No, that was one of the main reasons. The video to me was just like so I don't know. To me, it was kind of boring because he did kind of talk down to you instead of just like talking like a normal person. And I kind of got like I get the same vibe from him. He's like if Destiny wasn't a YouTuber and he was a game dev, maybe that's, and like was older, you know,
1,000%, dude.
and like a little calmer and didn't speak so fast. But that's kind of what he reminds me of. Yeah, and I don't know. I really just I can't consume that content. To me, it's kind of boring. But
Yeah, fair enough. I liked it because he kind of was like coming out of the woodwork to me defend a side that didn't need any defending. I mean, the game industry already supports the side of you know, making your game all about politics and pushing a message. I mean, Dragon Age Velgard, from what I heard, I'm not going to buy it. It actually communicates what it's truly like to sit in a Starbucks and get lectured by a blue-haired nose ring college-age kid. So,
wow,
I guess there's
Fate
kind of
worse
a
than
bigger
death.
story. Yeah. There's kind of a bigger story around this, which I didn't know because I did some research into Veilguard. And Veilguard's not our type of game. It's an RPG. I mean, I might try to go and play Baldur's Gate 3 at some point because that's good, but this is just not our game. I guess
yeah,
Veilguard, before it was released, a lot of the devs had in their bios all their flags, you know, the usual suspects. They had their Ukraine flag, their Palestinian flag, their pride flag, which is whatever.
bro.
Am I being too straightforward?
No Israel flag.
No. Oh, I wonder why. No. Big fans of terrorists, probably. I mean, what? So they go and hey,
I just think it's funny.
what Israel's done to Palestine is brutal, but I mean, you know, supporting terrorists is wild.
Well, like I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna have like one flag, you gotta have the other side too, bro. Like, or like honestly, if you're gonna have one flag, like if you're gonna have the flag of Palestine, have like the flag of Libya, Iraq, you know, Germany. Have every flag in the game, bro. Like have every country be represented.
Oh, I'm talking about I'm talking about on their Twitter account, but in games for
Oh,
sure.
oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess on their Twitter they have to put one banner, but why even do that? Why even put a banner like that? Anyway.
Well, and these are on the dev's personal Twitter, but
Oh.
as the game was coming out, they removed all those off their Twitter. And why was that? Well, before the game had come out, they had advertised that there is a breast slider. And you might say, a booby slider? Wow! If you slide... So first off, you get to pick between body type A and body type B, as you know. Shout out to all my body type B femoids out there. You have a breast slider, and if you slide it all the way to no breast, it removes your breast, and it gives you surgery scars, known as top surgery. What's fucked up is if you slide the slider all the way to the right, you can't have big titties. You can only have C-cup titties. So all my big booby women can't even play as the character they want to play as. Or you can't adjust your booty size. You can either have no tits or small tits, or medium tits, I guess, and that's your choices. You can give your type B body type, epic, a big bulge, if you feel like it, though. So
Okay, so body type A is basically female and body type B is male.
no, flip them.
Oh, the other way. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Very sexist. I it's something like that. From what I remember, body type B is female. I I say all this because in a quest for inclusion, they have excluded a bunch of groups, and then they expect for people to be okay with it. Um, I I'm not obsessed with this type of stuff, so I don't have it with me. But there was a developer that was talking shit about the breast controversy, and a woman that had big boobies went on to X and said, "I feel really left out of the game um, because I can't have my D cup breast." And the dev basically told her to fuck off, and she's a transphobe. So very, very lovely behavior in the search for inclusivity we have excluded. So I just always think that's funny. It's they say it's inclusion, but they don't include everybody,
Yeah, I mean,
which is crazy.
yeah, that's kind of the funniest. The funniest thing is like they're like, oh yeah, we're really tolerant people, and then like if you're like white, cis, a male or a Christian, they're like, like super triggered about it. It's like, okay, buddy.
All right, pal. Yep. Yep. I just thought that was funny. Maybe on my YouTube channel, maybe I'll do like game reviews too or something. So maybe I actually will play Velguard at some point. I guess while we're here, we'll update a story last week from Avowed. So I didn't know this, but this is also on the changing landscape. I am in a server with all of my trans homies, and I mean that. They are cool. They're cool people for the most part. They've gotten angry a few times, and I didn't even say anything controversial. I posted a video of Avowed being compared to Skyrim. And there's one of it being compared to Morrowind too, which Morrowind still had better physics. But the one that I'm talking about was compared to Skyrim. And in Skyrim, you can basically break everything. NPCs yap to each other. They have chore cycles, work cycles, basically daily cycles that these NPCs work on. So Skyrim is a fairly advanced game. And Avowed has none of this. Avowed doesn't have fish in the water. Avowed doesn't have objects you can destroy. Avowed has NPCs that stand there and look like they're talking, but don't actually have any volume or voice coming out of them. You can't interact or kill any of the NPCs in Avowed. You cannot kill the chickens in Avowed. You cannot do almost anything that is standard RPG practice in Avowed. And if you ever played Skyrim, you would know that you can kill everyone. You can pickpocket people. The townspeople acknowledge you when you walk by. Almost everything is interactable. And in this server of people, which I do like, they were defending it. And I couldn't figure out why. They were like, well, Skyrim has been around for, 14 years at this point, and has 3 different versions, has been upgraded over time. Why is it fair to compare Avowed to Skyrim? And I was like, well, I feel like it's pretty standard to have like fish in the water, or like NPCs that actually speak. For goodness sake, like the chickens, there's been interactable chickens since like the original Counter-Strike game almost. And that's not even an RPG.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and someone else was like, well, why does every game have to be a physics sim? I was like, well, every game doesn't have to be a physics sim. But I feel like there are basic RPG elements of NPCs have a cycle. NPCs actually talk to each other. And you can interact with NPCs and, animals and stuff. I feel like that is like basic RPG stuff. Even in the water, even if you don't want to have like actual fish entities, at least do like a fish animation or texture, however you want to say that like swims through the water, so it looks like there's something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like have like the Mario 64, like the fish swim.
Yeah.
Like the what do you call it? Like the just like the sprites of the fish swimming around. Like
yeah,
flat,
goodness gracious, something.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We didn't really cover it either, but yeah, I believe or maybe we did, but Avowed was getting quite a bit of hate because it also had some of the, like the leftist politics in it, where you could, I think you could choose male, female, or undisclosed or something like that, or
yes,
whatever middle ground.
So
I don't know.
You say this, and I couldn't figure out why these people, these very very hard left leaning people. I mean, I one time said the news was unbiased, or both sides of the news were biased and lied, and they lost their shit on me. So, these people are very hard left, and I couldn't figure out why they kept saying this about the game, because I don't give a shit about your fucking politics. The game looks bad, and I'm not gonna buy this fucking game. Instead of having hot characters, you have Gen Z fish people that look green. With fucking taper fades and furry obsessions.
Yeah, the gameplay is also. I've seen a little bit of gameplay snippets. To me, I don't even know what to make of it. It seems like it's way too easy, like for an RPG game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It reminds me. It kind of reminds me of like. Well, I don't know if even comparing it to like God of War is like way better, but that's like the vibe that I get from it. Is like it's trying to be like more of an action-y game, not so much RPG. But yeah, the fact that they could have, the fact that you don't have like the basic RPG stuff there. It would also maybe be cool if, I'm not sure if they have like a hub area where the NPCs are, but it would be cool if they had sort of different daily routines. I always think that's interesting in games whenever characters have different daily routines. You could honestly even have it like a 7-day calendar, and like maybe Monday they do this thing, Tuesday they do something else. I don't know. You could do a lot of cool things with especially with today's technology. I don't know why game devs are still stuck in. It feels like they're stuck in like 2010 sometimes.
Honestly, it does. I just don't get it. Yeah. Let's see. I think that's everything. Oh, I guess it kind of surprised me, this big defense of Avowed, and I kind of explained to these people like, well, if the NPCs don't talk and there's no fish and there's all these other issues, disregard the physics. It kind of gives like an uncanny valley feeling, where like it's almost immersive and real, but not really. And it's freaky. It's like having a platformer without music, I guess. I guess I want to end this segment. We've been yapping for almost 30 minutes.
Well,
My boy Kirby was afraid we wouldn't get mileage out of this, but I was ready.
I know, I got yapped a lot. I mean, even a game like, I just want to add this to maybe we'll cap it off here, but a game like Majora's Mask, that game came out in 2001 on the N64, one of the last games released for that, and it had NPCs that would do this thing for 3 hours, then go do this thing for 2, and be over here for another 4, and then the day would end, and you had different cycles, and it was a 3-day cycle, so it wasn't 7 days, but they would do different things on different days, so you'd have to sometimes find them on the second day, because if you found them on the first day, they weren't doing the specific activity, and they wouldn't give you a quest. So, this is like basic stuff that they could have added, but
it is. I guess I had I guess I have this last thing to say, is that there's this weird culture thing right now that's happening where two people will see a game, okay? And they both know the game has problems and that it's probably bad. One person will say, this game is woke, gross. And then the other person will all of a sudden change their mind and start to be like, well, I actually think it's a good game. So there's almost like this counter push against the like anti-woke push, which is very interesting, but it's not very organic because they both, I mean, they can both acknowledge that like the game has some problems. And however you want to put that or however you want to coat that and, you know, say it's all right-wingers or all left-wingers, I don't know. It's so fucking cringe. The game needs help. It needs patches. It should have never been released like this. And all the people making YouTube videos talking about how woke it is, that's not even the issue. It's not how woke it is. It's just fucking a bad game with a bad precedent. And I expect more after it's been fucking 15 years since Skyrim, which is a fucking bare minimum RPG that you should comply with.
Bro.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Clip that and put it on the channel right there. Clip that last fucking 30 seconds. Put that on shorts.
We need to clip that one, bro. I totally agree with you, bro. Like, a lot of people saw you out on Skyrim, but I'm like, bro, Skyrim is basic stuff. I'm sorry, but it is basic. And I think
Skyrim fucking sucks. I hate Skyrim.
Based. We both agree on that.
I don't like RPGs.
Yeah, I mean, neither do I.
It's boring.
But I'll play a good turn-based RPG that has good story, good music, and good graphics and stuff. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying I don't hate all RPGs. I just think a certain type where it's just like boring and bland, like Skyrim. I'm sorry, I'm never gonna play that game again.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I forced myself to beat it because one of our friends bought it for us, and he wanted me to play it and you, but you were like whatever, and I was just like, you know what? I'll just experience this game. I hated it.
Ultimate.
Yeah, I hated it. I just rushed through it as fast as possible. I was gonna make a YouTube video. Maybe I'll still make it, but
yeah,
it's kind of off topic.
Well, I guess Skyrim is fucking bare minimum. So yeah, fuck it. I don't even care what you believe politically. Go fuck yourself. Bad game. We can move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. Today I was just sitting around, and out of nowhere I was recommended. I got an ad for this new movie that's coming out, and then I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, it's real," because I thought it was some sort of joke. But they are making a Minecraft movie that stars Jack Black and I believe one of the guys, he plays a superhero. I can't remember who.
Holy shit, it's cursed.
It's not the guy who plays Thor, but
ever since he was
he
kind of
reminds you of him.
He yearned for the mines.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just so weird to me because you don't expect like this art style, and then you have like regular people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it is so cursed. And what I'm assuming it is basically these people get teleported into the Minecraft world. That's what I'm assuming, because there's no way that this makes any sort of sense.
Assume so. God knows
I think they just didn't. I think they just didn't show the part where they like got into a portal or something. But yeah, it looks like they travel to the end. They like go through a village. They tame a wolf. They, looks like they fight in some sort of gas coliseum thing. And I thought the one part that's really cute is the big jockey guy. The big jock guy gets into this ring, and there's a horrifying baby zombie on a baby chicken.
Oh,
and
gosh.
And they clash, and they hit him to the wall. It's kind of funny. This movie, to me, One of our friends pointed out, I sent it into a group chat, and one of our friends pointed out, and I do agree, this is basically the Mario movie, but for Minecraft.
Yeah, basically.
And I'm really curious on like how good it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be terrible.
I mean, it strikes me as a slop movie. Normally whenever I say slop, I mean like liberal slop because they control the media, like entertainment industry overall. But in this case, I literally mean slop as in like, hey kids, like Minecraft, here is a story about Jack Black, big fat funny man who gets TP'd into Minecraft and gets to see these horrific eldritch horrors that await him. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's fucking. It'll be interesting. Are we gonna see it? What do you think?
I don't know. Probably not on release. We're not movie people at all. We
we're video game people.
Yeah, we just recently watched The Godfather, which is a classic.
70s.
Way better than this movie for sure.
So I want to mention this from our debate from our topic before. There is a server I'm in with a very, very sweet furry, and him and I were actually talking about how modern movies suck ass. It's either the 300th superhero movie or the 150th horror movie. And I was talking about this actually with a big Hassan head a couple weeks ago as well. And they both agreed. Movies these days are bad. Now, we might disagree why they're bad, but to me, it's because movies these days are all about like making slop that you want to go see again and again and again, with a little bit of lefty politics sprinkled in, and hopefully you're just a big enough cinema fan that you just overlook it, which I am not. But yes, that's my schizo theory. How am I doing so far?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they basically just make inoffensive, like, superhero stuff.
Time to title this video "Meta Loses
Or just
It."
like
Complete
another,
schizo.
Another Pixar movie. This really reminds me. I really don't like the art style they went with, like the characters.
Oh dear Lord, no!
It's just so uncanny. I mean, the pandas are cute, and I think the villagers are maybe okay, but it's like they Pixarified like Minecraft, and in a way, a lot of it reminds me of how the Sonic movie, like the original Sonic poster looked.
Oh, yeah, 1,000,000,000%. It's that like horrific CGI, too like realistic but uncanny valley like aesthetic. And actually, I think it started before that. I think the first example is Detective Pikachu, which had that like ultra realistic, shiny fur. Just vile fucking aesthetic. And I don't. It might be on purpose at this point. Do you think that's on purpose?
I don't think so. I think just like a majority of people are like fine with how it looks. Like, I don't know. Just to me though, it looks so weird. Like knowing the actual game and playing the game, like, and then comparing that to like the movie, they look completely different.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're just so used to how like the creatures look in the game that it's hard to. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we can move on.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe you and I will go see it for a meme. Hey, it'd be good podcast content, no?
Yeah.
We could have another 30-minute talk about the Minecraft movie like we did today about Mark Darhara.
And why movies are shite.
Yeah.
Well,
By the way, we're not big critical. I just want to say this too. We're not big like critical drinker guys. Like I don't. You and I both don't have beef with a movie that is like all black people or all like a certain group. Like I don't have an issue like with movies that include different groups. What I have an issue with is whenever the sole purpose of your piece of media is to promote like this idea that like every that one group is better than another group, or that like it's your sole focus. Like I don't give a shit. I just want a good fucking story. Like it The Godfather was about Italians, and the Italians for a long time weren't even considered white, or like the Italians were not considered white for a long time. And so a movie like The Godfather is about a group that wasn't seen as white and as quote unquote, if you want to say clean, or however you want to define that, they were seen as like a dirty, skeeving people. But The Godfather is a great fucking movie. Why? Because it doesn't give a shit. It tells a story. And I can't wait to see 2 and 3. And that's what I want for all these movies that these people keep pushing out. There's another fucking clip for you right there. Oh my gosh.
Face, this episode just keeps giving.
I'm ready. I'm going to start making these episodes fucking pop, dude. I'm sending you timestamps to clip and ship on shorts. We're going to pop this motherfucker, dude.
Based. I know, I need to go through and make some. But,
I'm sending you timestamps.
We can move on. This is kind of a shorter topic, I think it'll be. But Microsoft is finally shutting down Skype. They are shutting it down on May 5th, and they are going to be focusing on Microsoft Teams. I feel like this has been kind of expected ever since Teams has come out, because it's basically just a more integrated version of Skype that's already built into Windows. And I never really understood why they ever had 2 services. But also, this is so sad because I love Skype. It was like the original. It was the original Discord. Before Discord, in like 2015, whenever I first got my gaming computer, I would always use Skype with my friends, and we would play like Gmod or Counter-Strike or other games. And everyone had a Skype, and then I think after 2016, 17, around there, everyone started switching over to Discord, and Skype kind of went by the wayside, but I do miss it, and I guess I'll miss it forever. It's a very, very sad time.
Damn. Yeah, Skype has really fallen off ever since Discord came out. I remember it used to be Skype versus TeamSpeak, if you remember.
No, I don't even think I remember
TeamSpeak,
bro.
was for the gamers, all right, and Skype was for work. Now everyone uses Discord, or what's the work Discord call? I don't remember.
Teams? No.
It could be Teams, but that's not the one I'm looking for.
Oh, Zoom. No? Oh. There's a ton of these, like, little services.
Yeah, I can't remember, but there's a business version of like the equivalent of Discord. Blizzard uses it. Yeah.
Huh. Well, yeah.
There's way too many, and I think the pandemic promoted the death of Skype. Am I wild?
No. I tell you fair, I think Skype's been been kind of overruled for quite a long time. Like, if you're going to be using something for work, you are going to be using either
Slack.
Zoom, Slack, yes.
Slack
you're gonna
is
be
the
using,
work Discord.
or you're going to be just using straight up email. I mean, there's many different services that you can use for communication. So I feel like Skype 2 has also had like an outdated interface. I don't know if they've ever updated, but that was one thing that I think really switched a lot of people over to Discord, especially gamers. Because just Discord's layout is much more conducive for gaming. So.
And even at work, I mean, I work in a place with a lot of older people. I mean, we're talking like I might be the youngest guy there. Everyone else is a boomer, almost. Man, I'm fucking telling you, getting some of these people to like understand how to use Teams or fucking join a Zoom meeting is, oh goodness gracious. I can't imagine them navigating Skype even, which at the time was very rudimentary, and now they make it way easier. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can move on. I heard a couple rumors floating around my work a few days ago. They were talking about this new Pokemon game that was coming out. They were saying it's called A to Z, or I'm sorry, Z to A, and not really much was known about it at the time. Just 2 days ago, but they released a trailer. The Pokemon company did, and it's called Pokemon Legends Z to A. And what it is it is a Pokemon game that is a sequel to X and Y, but it has the gameplay style of Legends Arceus, where you run up to Pokemon and you throw your Pokeballs at them after your Pokemon weakens them.
I love throwing my balls.
And I don't know. I never played Arceus or X and Y. I know we're not big Pokemon fans.
Nope, gross.
I know my boy Meta did play Arceus, and I think you liked it more than the turn-based stuff, right?
Yes, I do. I did not play very much Arceus, to be honest. I ended up just returning. Arceus, but I mean, I liked the idea of it. I think it appeals to more of people like you and me.
Yeah, it's much more action RPG. It kind of reminds me of Dragon Quest combat, specifically in I believe it was Dragon Quest 11. Had this sort of like, you would get into an encounter and a circle would like enclose on you, so you couldn't move outside the circle. You would have to like fight the enemies, but you could run around and cast your spells, and you could like dodge their spells or whatever. It's kind of an interesting concept, but that's what it reminds me of whenever I look at this gameplay. It looks like you can kind of dodge the other Pokemon's attacks.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I wish I played more of Arceus. It seemed like more of a Pokemon game I would like, but something I noticed is like it still ended up being like relatively, not relatively turn-based, but it kind of was like it reminds me of like one of those games like the new Final Fantasy, where it's like a mixture of turn-based but not turn-based.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine, but I could take that or leave that, to be honest, with the Pokemon game. It looks cool. It looks beautiful. It looks really pretty. Maybe I might rebuy Arceus at some point. I doubt it.
It looks
like, and I doubt you and I will even play this.
Yeah, it looks like, there's some new Pokemon. The thing is like, I love Pokemon design and even like some of the music I really like. But just the gameplay for me is a big turn off. And it's also like the story is almost the same for every game. You know, you have your rival who kind of stays with you throughout your journey, and then they either like eventually betray you and become like an enemy, or uh, that's basically happening to every one of them. Or like, I think one switched it up where the enemy wasn't really the bad guy, and it turns out to be your friend, and that was like the meme, and I'm like, bro, that's really dumb. So I don't know, and also it's like they've never really had a great story either.
No, not for us. I don't know. I've always viewed Pokemon games as like children's games, and not like the story. Well, they are technically. This
Yeah, I know.
the story is like, you meet a friend. He could be bad. He could be good. He turns out to be your enemy, and then he could, have a different personality, and then he either stabs you in the back or he doesn't, and you fight all the gym leaders, and that's like the whole story to everything. So, yeah, like you said, predictable. Also, I don't know. Why not just play Final Fantasy?
Yeah, or like literally any other RPG. Bro.
That's kind of how I feel. No offense to the Pokemon fans, just not our stuff. Not our stuff.
Yeah, just not our particular flavor. But yeah, I think that's about it for the podcast.
Yeah.
It's been your boy Kirby DK10.
Yes,
Peace.
it's been your boy Iron Matter Frankie. Peace.
Mm-hmm.